I guess the first question that everyone would want to know is why?
It was just an escape from a lot of the things that I've been through, and I was too embarrassed to share it, especially coming from a family where we're well known in the football world, and then, you know, my dad being a pastor. They raised me the best they could, but there were just some things that had happened back then that I felt then they were just too horrific and too horrifying for me to share. And growing up with it and holding that in as a child, it just led me to wanting to escape my real life. And so
it's my understanding that you're here with Dr. Sophie's full endorsement that this is a good idea for you to do,
yeah,
and that he supports you doing this,
yeah,
and that he has your full and expressed permission to speak candidly about anything and everything that you two have shared in your private sessions, that you give him rights to full disclosure within his own judgment, correct?
correct.
You shared something with me off camera earlier today. You've been hiding a painful secret for years, and it's one that you just started to discuss with Dr. Sophie. You were molested a number of times across a number of years. I'm very sorry for that, by the way. How old were you the first time that you were touched inappropriately?
I was 12.
Okay. And this was by someone close to you. It was not an immediate family member, but it was someone close to you.
Close to my family.
Right, close to your family.
Yeah.
And this was an older person, right? Did you know what was happening when it happened the first time?
The first time it happened, I had no idea. All I knew at that time in my life was basketball, more basketball. I didn't know anything else. I was pretty popular at school. I didn't know anything other than what a 12-year-old would know. So it started off with a hand and touching and stuff like that. And at this time, I hadn't had any sexual experience ever. I didn't even have the chance to have my 7th grade health class, you know, where they explained this type of stuff of how babies are made. I didn't have that talk yet with my parents, and so no, I didn't know what was going on.
You had not enjoyed a close relationship with your father for a number of years because he traveled a lot and was gone, correct?
Correct.
You had been raised essentially by who?
My grandparents, my mom, and then mainly my mom's sisters.
But then your father had kind of found his way back to the family and to the church.
Correct.
And had gotten very involved, right?
Correct.
And this had kind of happened essentially on his watch.
Correct.
What was your fear if you had brought this up? What were you afraid of?
Immediately, I was afraid that if I would, you know, go and say, hey, Dad, or hey, Mom, this happened to me with so-and-so, my dad would be angry, what father wouldn't? And then from there, I felt if I tell him that, who knows, maybe that'll make him hate church. I couldn't just be like, you know, Dad, this happened to me. And I didn't know what to expect, what the reaction I would get, but I knew that I could not go forward with that.
So you thought, A, I'm ashamed of this. B, I don't want to be the cause of driving my dad out.
Yeah.
So keep my mouth shut and hope this doesn't happen again.
And just hold it in and hope it doesn't happen, but it did happen.
It didn't happen one more time, not 2 more times, not 3 more times, 4 more times. It just kept happening, right?
Yeah.
And it went from touching to what?
From touching to every form of molestation and abuse you could think of. I mean, I don't know how to say it without saying it in a way where...
You were raped.
Yeah, correct.
More than once.
More than once.
Brutally, painfully raped.
Correct.
To the point that you physically couldn't walk.
Correct.
And you never did tell anybody about that?
Not even my closest cousins, not even my sisters, not even my mom, my dad. I didn't tell anyone. I held it in and kind of just took it and moved on and hoped that the feeling of disgust and the feeling of filth and the feeling of just every feeling that came along with it, I just hoped that it would go away, but it didn't.
Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.